Hi guys, in this video you will have some questions answered for Titan Quest II. Which masteries will be in the initial early access? How long will the early access continue and when will the real game, aka version 1.0, come out? Stay tuned for the most recent Titan Quest II news. It has been some time since my last video. There was not much content to work with. Usually I had my monthly coverage of the blog post, but the last blog post for November was only a couple of paragraphs, so I apologize for the lack of videos lately. For every month, the developers put out a detailed and well-written blog post on the Titan Quest II Steam page, but not the last one. This is why I assumed that the early access would be right around the corner, since the devs seemed not to bother to cough up more blog posts when the early access will be released shortly anyway. It seems I was kind of right, because we get some more news drop in a GameStar video again. GameStar is a German gaming magazine and they interview a lead designer of Grimlore Games. In the background we see the early access playing, with a bunch of new monsters and also some abilities that have not been shown before. So let's cut the crap. The most important question is, when will the game come out? We get an answer here which I was not so happy about. Early access will go on for 1 to 2 years. The early access is confirmed to be released in the beginning of 2025, so either January or February 2025. Hopefully not March, because I can't wait much longer. The developer says in the video that the early access will be quite big, a total of 25% of the finished game. It will take around 10 hours of playtime to finish the game. In the initial early access there will be 3 masteries. As time goes on, there will be updates released for the early access, giving the players more levels, maybe new items and also later one new mastery. Later there will be also co-op in early access. The total number of masteries in the final game is confirmed here to be 7 or 8. Keep in mind that this is only the number for the base game. After a couple of years after the game's release, there will be DLCs with a new mastery, items, levels and maybe new features. But forget all of that. The most important thing is that the version 1.0, so the finished game of Titan Quest II, will come out at some point in 2026. We also get a lot of new info about the upcoming game. The goddess Nemesis will be the antagonist. That is old news.
Christ, this is old news, let it go.
But the player will encounter her early on after the first boss fight. In the early stage of the story, which will be included in the early access, by the way, the player will come to a Greek village that is being plagued by a griffin. In typical ARPG fashion, this becomes a quest to slay the beast. After that, there will be the first encounter with Nemesis, and she doesn't like the player all that much. Throughout the game, there will be many encounters with Nemesis, so that we can form some kind of relationship with the villain, which is kind of cool. We get a little more detail towards the masteries and their abilities. There will be lots of modifiers for every skill in Titan Quest II. The modifiers become available depending on your stat values. The new info: there will be no cost to respec the modifiers, meaning if you decide to change the modifiers, it won't cost anything to cancel a modifier you have chosen previously and choose a new one. There will be something that the developers call crafting in the early access. What they mean by that is what Titan Quest fans know as relics and charms. These were items that you could use to put on your non-legendary gear to give additional bonuses. For example, you may be able to collect a claw charm that gives a weapon additional pierce damage. You can put that on a weapon that already has a lot of pierce damage to further specialize your build. For your armor, you can put relics and charms to give some resistances that the character is lacking. Crafting will be similar to the system in Titan Quest 1 and it will not be part of the initial early access, but come with later updates. The developer clarifies some more on the topic of monster levels. It is stated again that the monster levels will not scale with the character levels. A crab of level 1 on the beach will not be level 40 when you come back later to that area. The great thing is the new ritual system. A player can put in some rituals to adjust the monster levels or give themselves some kind of handicap. With this, when you are already a level 40 hero and come back to the early beach, you can adjust the difficulty level with these rituals, which also results in you gaining decent XP for killing monsters there. The 3 masteries that the initial early access starts with will be Earth, Storm and Warfare. This was to be expected, given that we were introduced to specific abilities of these masteries already in the October blog post. So, what do we make with this new info? I was sad hearing that for the whole year of 2025 I can only play the early access, but that is good enough. I repeat myself here, but for me it's important that the devs take their time to build an awesome and big world that is fun to explore and that looks good. The balancing is also a big part. The early access is also a way for the developers to get some feedback from us, the community. So I recommend that you buy the early access. It will be updated regularly and over the year 2025 we get more and more content. I know that I will get it the day it gets released. What will you do? Thanks for watching, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.